What's up guys, Spencer Kalsbeek with eXp Realty here. If you're looking for homes for sale in the Chagrin Falls area, chances are you've probably seen some for sale in the Canyon Lakes development. This is a pretty popular neighborhood. I have people asking me questions about this all the time. And so I wanted to give you guys kind of a neighborhood tour of this area because it's kind of an interesting development. They have three different styles of houses there. They have some single family and some cluster homes and even a few condos in there. And then I'm going to do a drone flyover, show you guys what this looks like, and then talk about some of the pros and cons, a few things that I noticed with this neighborhood, and some things that people who live there have said to me that they do and they don't like. So let's just jump into this. So let me pull up the map here on my computer, Google Maps, and show you guys a little bit about the development and the area. So this is Canyon Lakes. There are two different main streets that make up this neighborhood and development. There's the original portion over here, and then this is a little bit newer. I'll show you guys that in a minute. But as you can see, we're right on the corner of 306 and the Freeway 422, really convenient access there. Let me zoom out a little bit here and show you the proximity to Chagrin Falls. So the village of Chagrin Falls is right there, which is really easy. You just take Chagrin Road straight in. It's only about 2.5, 3 miles into there. There's shopping, restaurants. It's a really cool place to hang out. So that's why a lot of people love living this close. Also, another great thing is that you're on the Geauga County side. So this is the Geauga-Cuyahoga County line right here. Everything to the right of that is Geauga County. The advantage of that is that they do have a little bit cheaper taxes than Cuyahoga County. Now, if we zoom out a little bit, I'll show you Cleveland is, well, Google Maps says it's about 25 minutes. So you jump right on, this is the neighborhood, jump right on 422, take it to 480 and straight up 77, and you're right in Cleveland. It says about 25 minutes. Realistically, it's probably like 30 by the time you actually find parking. Now, if there's traffic and you're in rush hour, traffic gets pretty heavy coming off of 77 and 480 here. So it's probably a good 45, 50 minutes into Cleveland or out during rush hour. For shopping and restaurants, of course, you have Chagrin Falls. They have some great restaurants in there. There are a few down here in Bainbridge. Solon has some really good stuff, a lot of shopping in there. There's a Walmart and Home Depot a couple miles away. Beechwood has a massive mall and shopping center and restaurants up in that area. And there is Legacy Village, some good shopping. So let me zoom in. I'm going to show you guys the neighborhood itself here. Let me switch to the satellite view and talk a little bit about the layout because it's kind of interesting. Now, there are three types of houses in here. There's single family and cluster, and there's a few condos, not too many. So these are the majority of the single family houses in the older neighborhood, and then towards the beginning of this second street as well. Most of the houses in the beginning are going to be built in the 90s to the 2000s, and then towards the middle you're looking more at 2000, 2010, and then we're down to 2012, 2015, and then all these cluster homes at the end. This is the newer portion of the development. Those are all kind of 2012 plus. A lot of those are built this year and last year. They're very high in demand. Now, most of the houses in this area are probably going to be the 600 to 700 range, and then a lot of these are kind of 8s, and then there's probably a few in here that are $1 million. I think the most expensive house in this development was $1.3 million. Some of these are larger lots. They're about 1.5 acre, and most of these are between 0.5 and 1 acre for the single family. Then when you get down to the cluster homes, they're a lot smaller, 0.2 acres. That's why people love these. There's a lot less to take care of. Now for this other development here, this is a lot newer, and these single family houses in here are newer as well. They are a little bit more expensive. I see these probably closer to the 800s range in here, and then towards the back, these are all cluster homes. This is where all the newer construction is going on. They're still building a lot of these cluster homes, and for single family, they are putting another road in here with single family houses all along here. So those are going to break ground in 2023. I know there is a line of people that are waiting for those. And of course, there are quite a few cluster home lots available here as well. Now, let's jump over to the drone and I will show you guys what this looks like, at least in the winter. So the entryway off Chagrin Road, you can see to the left is the park. That's part of the development, a couple hundred acres. There's trails in there. I see people walking around in there all the time. As we get into the development, you can see there are an absolute ton of houses in here. These are all the single family towards the entryway. They're larger lots, about 0.75 acres on average. The houses are a little bit larger. And as we go a little further in, there are a couple condo neighborhoods in there. You can see those grouped together. Now towards the back are all those cluster homes. You can see the lots are a little bit smaller. All the houses are packed in there a little bit tighter. There aren't as many trees because it is a newer section of the development. And there's this little park back here that's not part of the development, but it is very close. Has a couple baseball fields in there and a building. And I want to show you guys this on the ground driving through here. This is the main road. As you can see, there aren't a lot of houses on the main road. Most of them are off on side roads and cul-de-sacs, so it makes it a lot more private. The majority of this development is those single family houses. The lots are a little bit larger. You can see they're spaced further apart. There's a lot of vegetation and trees in the original section of this development. So it is pretty private, and you do get a little bit of privacy, especially in the spring, and separation from your neighbors. Now if we go towards the back, you can see the houses start getting a little closer together. They have those condos and the cluster home neighborhoods. There aren't as many trees back here because this is recently developed. And driving down those cluster home streets, you can see they are a lot closer together. The lots are smaller. There aren't trees in between, so it may not be quite as private, but a lot of people do love these because they are a little bit more affordable. The lots aren't so big. There isn't a lot of maintenance and things to take care of. Now back out to the drone, you can see the park that I mentioned in the beginning. This splits the older section up in the right corner, the upper right corner of the screen, and then over to the left is that newer street of the neighborhood. Also, now these are the single family houses in the beginning. There are only 2 or 3 cul-de-sac roads off of here, but you can see they've put quite a few houses in here already. And now this section right here to the right that is wooded, that is where the new single family development is going. A street is going right through there. And then of course to the back here we have it split into those cluster homes all along the back. You can see how close these developments are to the freeway 422 right there. You can definitely hear it in some of these houses. So if we drive through this neighborhood, you can see the houses are pretty unique. All these single family houses are custom home builders. You can choose any builder you like, whereas the cluster homes, there are only 3 builders that you can choose. Mostly people are just building their own houses on these lots, so I don't see these come up for sale too often because they're so new. Then to the back of this development, you can see are those cluster homes that I talked about. They are a little closer together. There are still lots available in here, and they are constantly building in here as well. Straight back, you can see where all those trees are. That is the park separating the original development from this secondary street. And that is it. That is the entirety of Canyon Lakes. So now we've seen the area and the neighborhood, I'm going to go over some of the pros and cons. A lot of these I've heard from people that live there and some that we can see in the video. So con number 1 is that it is pretty close to the freeway. Some of those houses and cluster homes in that newer section do sit close enough that you can hear the freeway pretty constantly. Maybe it doesn't bother you, maybe it does. Another con is that they don't have a lot of facilities there. They do have a tennis court, and there is that park on the back of the original neighborhood, but there aren't any gyms or community pools. Now, one thing that I heard from quite a few people in the neighborhood actually is that there are no sidewalks, and I didn't even notice this when I was going through there, so it may be something to consider if walkability is a huge issue for you. So the pros of this neighborhood obviously outweigh the cons. It really is a great development. First of all is the proximity to everything around you. Chagrin Falls is only a couple miles away. There are parks, lots of restaurants, shopping. The freeway is right around the corner, easy access to Cleveland. So it is really centrally located, and that's why a lot of people love this area. Secondly, it's very private and secluded. There's a lot of tree growth in those single family houses. It's really beautiful in the spring and fall when you get all those leaves on the trees. And since it's not a cut-through street, there isn't a lot of traffic from people that don't live in the neighborhood, so it is actually pretty quiet. Another reason people choose this neighborhood is because of the diversity in homes. There's a lot of those really popular cluster homes. There's a bunch of single family. There's even a few condos in there. So depending on what lifestyle you're looking for, there's always something to choose from. So that is the Canyon Lakes development. I hope this is really helpful for you guys. If you have any more questions, or if you're thinking about moving to the area, I'll put my contact information up here, and I absolutely love hearing from you guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. You're gonna have a lot more content coming out, some neighborhood tours, restaurants, some fun things to do in the area. And thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys around.